Hi, this is Jen at Jen's Ink Spot, and today we are going to make a scalloped paper garland. I have some pieces already put together, and I'll show you how I did that. You're going to need some twine at the end that you'll use to string it all together. I am using this die set from Catherine Pooler called the Scalloped Tag Duo Die. And there's 3 pieces to it. You can see that there is a large scallop. This is the die we're going to be using today. It also comes with a smaller scallop, which would make very cute garlands as well. You could even interchange the sizes if you wanted. And then it comes with this circle die that you can layer on the larger die. But for today, we're just going to use the largest scalloped die. Here is how I've used it. I've cut lots of scallop circles out of book paper and pattern paper and adhered them all together, and I'm going to show you how I do that. And this creates the bulk of our garland. This is the paper pack I used, wallpaper pattern paper from Catherine Pooler. You can see that it has all kinds of different patterns. I chose 7 of the patterns from this paper pack to use. These are all colors that match my scrapbook room, paper crafting room, because that's where I'm going to put this at. I like to pick up vintage books when I find them at thrift stores, and this was one that I found there. I liked it because it had text and illustrations in it, and I've incorporated both into this project. Here is again how it's going to look. This one I used 6 different pieces for, and you can see that it's pretty full. This one I only used 4 pieces for, and it just wasn't full enough, and so I added 2 more pieces. You could also go for 8 pieces and make it even bigger, but I thought that the 6 pieces was perfect and it worked out really well for what I wanted to do. So that's just kind of the difference in fullness. However you like it, you can do it how you want. So I'm just kind of assembling the different patterns that I have so far, and I'm going to show you how to assemble these. I chose another pattern from this wallpaper pattern pack, and it's this pretty green. I love this piece, and what I've done is cut 3 of the pattern papers and 3 from the book. So you'll need 6 pieces total. Here's the 3 pattern paper, and it is a very nice thick paper, and then this book paper is much thinner, but you can see I've cut 2 with text and I've cut 1 that has the illustration on it. And again, you can see that pretty detailed stitch on the inside of the scallop. Here's what the back looks like. You can also see the stitch, but it's just not as nice and crisp and clear. And so now what you're going to need is a bone folder if you have one. If you don't, it's okay, but you will get a much crisper fold if you have a bone folder. You're going to fold the part that you want to see in. So right now what you see is what will be hidden because it'll be attached to another piece. But what you want to see, you will actually have on the inside facing together, and you can see that stitched edge there. And so you're going to continue to just fold each of these pieces using your bone folder to make a nice crisp scored line. And for a pattern paper like this that has white, you'll definitely want to make sure you're adhering the right side because you don't want to see that white. That would be boring. You want to make sure to see the pattern. So it's important that the pattern faces itself inside. So there you can kind of see what I'm meaning when I say that. So I'm just going to continue to score and fold each of these pieces, and then I'll show you how I attach them. Once I finish that, then I'm going to alternate a pattern paper with a book paper, pattern paper, book paper until I'm done. I use my ATG gun just because that's what I use for everything, but you can also use any kind of glue that you prefer. You can use liquid glue, you can use a tape runner, whatever kind of glue you like and you're used to using it will work perfectly fine on this project. I put adhesive on each edge, and so I put it down the center and then all around the scallop. This is on the pattern paper, and then I'm going to attach one of the pages from the book next. And I'm lining up that middle center crease and also the outside scallop. If it's not 100% perfect, it's okay. It's going to get lost in there with everything else. So you're just going to continue to do this and go all the way around the outside, go down the middle. Those are your most important parts to hit with adhesive, and just continue alternating until you have it all lined up, and then you'll be perfect. And this really does go fairly quickly. It's not going to take too much time to do this. So once you have all of the pieces together, you'll have two pieces that will be your end pieces. And I'll show you what that looks like here. When you open it up, it kind of reminds me of those honeycomb decorations that you can buy at the store. Now you're going to add adhesive one more time to one of the edges of your paper, and then you're going to stick those two edges together, and it'll finish it off and close it all up, and you'll be done with your first scallop paper garland. So you can see here it just goes right together, and you can kind of fluff these up. You can bend them and fold them so that they're the fluffiness that you want. That's the one that we just did. And now you take your twine and you're going to insert your twine into the holes at the top of each one of these circles. That's the nice thing about this being a tag die, is that you already have a natural hanger for your garland, and you don't have to punch a hole or try to figure it out another way. It just makes the perfect little way to hang your garland up. And of course you can make this garland really big. You could make tons of these. You could make a rainbow. You could do so many different things with this garland. But here you can kind of see how I've alternated the colors so that they kind of match and go together. In this picture, I'm actually missing one that I will add in a little while. I decided to go ahead and make a rainbow garland, so I've already cut out all the pieces and assembled some of them, and I've also folded them all with my bone folder. I am going to use Bearly Arts Precision Craft Glue for this project. I decided to use a liquid glue this time around because my cardstock I'm using is a lot thicker than the book paper that I used for the last banner, and so I thought that this would make it a little less bulky than having tape in between every layer. And so I just adhere it together just like I did before. And for this, using the glue, I do put a piece of glue all the way around the edge, and then I also put an X in the middle just to give it a little extra strength. So because this is a little bit thicker and bulkier, I thought it wouldn't hurt to have a little extra glue there. So that is how I have done that. Just keep assembling each section like I'm showing you here. Then when you get to the last piece, you can see how thick it is. And so now you're going to just adhere that last piece just like I have on the other pieces, except when you bring the two ends together, you're going to kind of stretch it a little bit. You won't be able to tell when the project is finished, but you will be able to stretch it so that it fits perfectly, and you won't notice it at all. You will want to make sure that you fluff it all out so that the pieces that aren't supposed to be sticking together aren't stuck, and then just let it finish drying. One other thing I wanted to mention is on the garland I made before with a book paper and pattern paper, I used 6 sections, and on this one I used 8. So it made a much fuller ball this time, and so you can decide if you like the smaller or the larger ball and just make it how you like it. Here is my rainbow garland hanging outside my craft room door, and here it is inside. I just love the brightness that it brings and the color that it adds. I have drop down ceilings in my craft room, and so to hang my garland I took a little clip and then I just tied my twine to it. I did this for both sets of the garland, and that just made it super simple to hang. Here is a picture of the first garland that we created in the beginning of this video. I just want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will have all the supplies that I used listed below, and if you have any questions or you'd like to see more projects, I hope you'll take time to visit my blog, jensinnkspot.blogspot.com.